So guys, I'm back with that second video, and this is about the video of Asus Zenfone 2. I do not have any paper that I have written about it. So Asus Zenfone 2 ZE551ML version, that is actually a 2.4 gigahertz, having a 2.4 gigahertz processor and with 4 GB of RAM, and it comes in two variants, the 32 GB variant and the 64 GB variant. 32 GB variant is actually giving you a space of 23.2 GB. No, sorry. It is giving you a space of 29.2 GB in that 32 gigs model. I don't know about 64 gigs. India is up right now getting only 32 gigs model. Maybe in the forthcoming days it will, or forthcoming months, it will bring that 64 gigs model. So Asus Zenfone 2 is the first phone in India, in the world, sorry, not in India, in the world, having that 4 GB of huge RAM, but it is slow as compared to Samsung Galaxy S6. And this is the overview, just an overview, because I do not have any phones, or I cannot buy it right now because I don't have this. So Asus Zenfone 2 is having 4 GB of RAM, that is a plus point, but in the range of 20K. But the main difference between a 4 GB RAM, which is a DDR3 RAM, and a 2 GB RAM or a 3 GB RAM, which is a DDR5 or DDR4 RAM. Samsung Galaxy S uses a DDR4 RAM, which is a 3 GB variant, and that is pretty fast as compared to Asus Zenfone 2. So let's talk about the Asus Zenfone 2. Asus Zenfone 2 is like a phone that is beefy. Its weight is 179 grams, and but due to the more weight, it looks a hefty phone, a beefy phone, but it is not that actually heavy because it is using that simple plastic rather than metal. But its gunmetal design is the perfect design I have seen, and actually Asus is giving pretty cool colors of that cases, and pretty cool colors of that back what we call it back covers. So express covers, we can say, that Nokia produced previously 5-4 years back. So this is Asus Zenfone 2 with 4 GB of RAM. It's pretty fast. 42,102 in Antutu benchmark is pretty good score. But as compared to Samsung Galaxy S6, if you are thinking that 3 GB of RAM is slow and 4 GB of RAM is pretty good high, you can do multitasking very greatly in that 4 gigs model of Asus Zenfone 2. But the main negative aspect of that phone can be the graphic processor, because Intel Atom is a processor that is being used in that phone, and 6820, I hope 6820 6830 model, and it is using the graphic processor that is Power VGX, that is used in the iPhone 5C and 5S, and that processor is good as compared in when we talk about the iPhone 5C or 5S, because their processors are actually custom made and uses the A53 architecture. But this is an Intel. Firstly, this is an Intel processor, and secondly, they should have rather than increasing the RAM, rather than using the DDR3 RAM, they should have to use that. They could have used actually that DDR4 RAM or DDR5 RAM. DDR5 RAM 2 GB variant is pretty much faster than DDR3 or DDR4 RAM 4 GB variant. So it depends on the person, and it depends on the usage you are doing. If you are doing very multitasking, then 4 GB of RAM, even if it is a DDR3, it's pretty good. And Asus is coming up with 3 models in that. The fourth model is not being sold in here in India. The 32 GB variant with 4 GB RAM, and with 5.5-inch Full HD display. The 5.5-inch Full HD display and 2 GB RAM, same 32 GB variant, And lastly, but not the least, the 2 GB variant, 1.8 GHz processor, and 5-inch, sorry, not 5-inch, 5.5-inch 720p display model. So these three are the variants here, and hopefully I'll be getting that lowest daily variant, or maybe I don't know. So let's see when nearly in June or July will be buying a new phone, and it with the upcoming phones, these phones that are coming with 4G, and especially that 64-bit processors, they are making the consumers or customers hard to select, because every phone is having dual tone flash. Every phone is having 2 GB or 3 GB RAM. Every phone is a 64-bit enabled processor. Every phone comes with either Lollipop or outdated KitKat version. And every phone has good camera quality. Every phone has 4G support. Every phone is having battery above 2500 mAh, and the fast charging is actually making a top troll, pretty much high toll over there. So I think it will be difficult, very very difficult for a consumer to buy a specific phone, because if he wants to buy a Redmi 2, and the price range of Redmi 2 is nearly 8, I think, and Lenovo is 6000 plus, and these two are not just the only phones which are having these things that I have told you. Actually, various other phones. Honor 4X is having the same thing. YQ Eureka is having the same thing. Nokia 640 right now that came and had a price drop of 2000 rupees. So in the 10,000 range, it has made a hype. Even that 4G variant of Xiaomi, that Xiaomi Note 4G, right? Xiaomi Note 4G is pretty much a good phone with a greater battery life. So these, because of this era of new techs coming here in our India, the possibility of buying a phone will be in a confused state. If one has to buy this company, then the other company is giving the same thing in less price, but quality is not that great. If you increase your price range, then this phone comes, but in compared to that, even a single phone is coming, like we say Moto G. If it is a perfect phone, then near that price bracket, any phones are there, and you will get a headache maybe, or you will be thinking, yeah, which phone should I buy? This one that is having greater battery life, or this one? This has a greater camera, or maybe this because it is a RAM phone. So we are actually, bounded by the tech specs, and everybody is now, giving info about tech specs, like just me, previous guys, and they have know many things about the Snapdragon processor, graphics, RAM, SD display, Full HD display, and OLED, the AMOLED display, camera megapixels, and OIS, that is optical image stabilization. So these phones are creating a pretty much hype, and I think there will be more phones coming by the Q3 timing of our 2015. So we'll be waiting for that. So thank you.